Who have I got here? John Place, the famous Mr. John Place. Am I going to press? I nearly pressed Berserk, but in the end, perhaps it was for the better that I didn't. So what we're going to play here is a Scandinavian Defence from the white side, and we're going to play it solidly. We're going to play c4, we're going to gain a bit of space, we're going to claim that we have a slight development advantage and a slight space advantage. We're not going to lose our pawn on c4. We're not worried about bishop g4, which often happens in these lines because the knight isn't there. Anyway, the bishop's blocked in. We're going to develop the knight, probably put the bishop on d3. Oh, this is innovative. So if I push, it's defended 3 times. So I push, right? Push. Because I don't want to take and like free his bishop. I think I'm pushing here. If he takes, I take, but I quite like that pass pawn. I mean, he's got bishop d6, so it's not going to cause an instant problem. But I'm fine with it. I mean, after bishop d6, I've even got bishop g5. Okay, so do I want to take the pawn on e6? Have his bishop take back? The queen's come off. I think maybe we just do quiet development, do we? Let's just do quiet development and see what John comes up with. Because the thing is, black's development is a little awkward here. I think he's going to find it hard to avoid taking on d5. Yeah, see. Now, I might put my bishop, for a bit of humour, I might put bishop on d3. The point being that if you take twice on d5, there's a check there. Actually, there's no taking twice on. Oh, if we push that pawn, does that not win? It doesn't win, does it? But it's quite irritating. Let's push that pawn and see if that bishop can go on a little journey. Maybe we'll defend the pawn. So it's just cramping. It's just cramping. It's not critical, but it's cramping. And then maybe what we'll do is stick the rook on the open file, threaten to swap the knight, maybe win this pawn. Might be a bit of a target. Maybe knight here with the idea of taking back the queen. Or, you know, just gaining space. I think the rook on the open file is attractive, although no longer, because black has elected to close that file. So now this is the open file. Let's not rush into that. Instead, I think what I'm going to rush into is... Okay, so it's hard to resist the attraction of bishop d3. What we're going to attempt here is bishop c2, queen d3, take off the knight, and then announce checkmate. That is our broad idea. Will it work? Nobody knows. Is it a plan? It's a plan. How are we going to take the knight off? Probably by putting the bishop on g5 and binding it. Are we going to move the bishop or the queen first? Maybe the queen, because there's this pawn to think about as well. Okay. Attacking my bishop. Pinning the knight. So now, can I take here? I take, he takes. No, I can't. Not really. Well, it doesn't win, doesn't lose. Okay. I think we're not going to take. We're just going to preserve the tension. If black wants to play g5, then that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So let's look at this again. I take, black takes, I take the queen, he takes. I attack here, his bishop goes somewhere. So what, basically? I know, let's unpin the knight with a not-so-secret plan of checkmate somehow. Maybe through knight here. It's not obvious how to achieve this. Get some of the rooks on open files. Can't be bad. Perhaps get the rook. Oh, can he take this? I feel a bit nervy about that as black, but it's certainly not ridiculous. It's certainly not ridiculous, is it? Okay, so he's elected to take there. I take. He's going to take with the queen. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm going to pin his knight. So what's my idea now? My idea now is to take on f6 with the bishop. Queen can't take, knight can't take. So there's a little bit of a crisis there, isn't there? But I'm sure black's got a way out of that. More seriously, though... Oh, is that the way out? So what happens? He's attacking the bishop and the queen at the same time. So at the very least, I can mess his pawns up. I think messed up pawns are quite a good idea, aren't they? And then I've got a bishop via... I mean, put it this way, he's attacking my bishop and my queen. So if I want to keep the queens on, got to take here, he'll take my queen. No, I think we're just going to play the messed up pawns game, actually. Are we? Yeah, I think those pawns are pretty difficult, actually. Okay, is there an idea? Oh, you're wondering about the knight check, wasn't he? Okay, so what we're going to do now is attempt to put our rooks on the 7th rank and cause trouble. So, and then also look, we've got a possible bishop b3 here as well, which we can combine to create some problem against the f pawn. Now, black has lots of ideas to counter this, but it's not going to be easy peasy. So here, if rook goes here, then I take, he takes, I take the pawn, he checkmates me. Not good. So if rook goes here, I take... I can't take, can I? Because even if I play g3, he checkmates me. Ooh, that's really grim and grisly. So what I have to do is this. So I don't get checkmated. Then takes, rook here, there's no checkmate. I can just play g3. But can the knight do something awful? Probably not quickly enough. There. I do. So, rook there, g3, rook there. Okay, fair dues. So I go here, he goes there, got to come back. So what I've got to do really here is attack the knight. I don't really want to get checkmated at the moment. Maybe I'll save that for later. So what we're discovering here is, as it might be, oh. So is this forcing an exchange of rooks then? Okay, let's try and force it on slightly better terms. By attacking the knight. I assume he'll take the rook. I assume I'll take back. I assume his knight will run. I assume then he has a better endgame. Oh, are you sure, John? Maybe he is sure. Maybe he really is sure. Yeah, he's now a lot up. I can't really take that, you know. Okay, fine. He'll take the rook, and then he'll take here. What? Oh, I see, like that. Wow. I'm shocked. But maybe it's fine. Maybe it's good. So his point is that I think he should have taken the rooks off, actually, but maybe it's really good, you know? It's his game, after all. So king here, or knight here. After knight here, rook here. The question now, the big question for white is, can he draw? And the answer is only if he's lucky, but he may be able to. Time may become his ally. The big question for black is, I think king g7 is the best move. because it's quite hard for white to defend that pawn, I suppose, just as with the bishop. With the bishop. Has white got any ambitious ideas? John's having a good think about this one, quite rightly. And I'm having a bad day. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do this. So now I have got a passed pawn which could theoretically be dangerous. Attacking there. Is he just going to start racing his pawns through? Oh, look. There aren't many squares, are there? King attacks my bishop. Rook checks king. King runs. Rook attacks pawn. King runs the other side. Good move. Okay. What I'm going to have to do here is do something that's actually like a good idea rather than make rubbish moves all the time. This, so rook here. He'll start getting his pawns moving. He just must. Yep. I am going to try to stop his pawns. I just must. This pawn just runs, probably. So my rook comes back. And then I've got to get mine going. So the question is, who is quicker? And the answer is almost definitely him. So I have to get my rook on this square properly, and it's going to be quite hard for him to just lodge it, but not that hard. Okay, push. Yeah, okay. This. Knight attacking my rook. Rook attacking pawn. Pawn, his pawn will defend the other pawn. My pawn's just got to get going. There's no time like the present. So I've got to try to create some threats around my h-pawn, but it doesn't have a friend. I mean, that's giving away a pawn, but maybe it's great. Maybe it's just going through. Maybe it's not. Check. Stick the rook behind the passed pawn. He's got the other one. He pushes. I take. I mean, if he pushes this, what on earth do I do? He pushes, I take. He pushes to there. What have I got? Nothing is the answer. Oh, I'll take with the bishop. Woof! So is he worried now about me queening this pawn? Am I worried about me? Do I think I can queen this pawn? There's a bit of time trouble here. So I suppose the problem is he can't get at this pawn, but the minute I push it, okay, he's elected to do it that way. So I'm going to check him. He's going to go in the corner, and I'm going to bring my king across, and I'm going to claim his king is out of the game. Okay, so do I do this, attack the knight? It looks incredibly risky. I don't think I'm going to do that at all. I think I'm going to try and bring my king across in a vain attempt to help out. But the problem is, how do I cross the line of the rook? Okay. Worried. Officially worried. Officially worried. Oh, I'm going to get mated! Ugh! Well played, John. Good game. Good game.